Yo!
Hey!
Coffee After Dark is back in the building.
Coffee After Dark in the building?
No. We're back in the building.
But we are Coffee After Dark.
Oh, right.
Robert and Juleen back in the building. Or
what do you... Coffee After Dark.
Coffee After Dark. What do y'all say out here on the West Coast? Coffee After Dark in the heezy.
I don't think I ever said easy before in my life.
I'm telling you, it says that your boy from Long Beach always says
Snoop.
Yeah. Says he just be making up words.
Easy for sheezy.
Yeah. We in the heezy for sheezy. Yeah. There you go.
All right, so we back. Let's get it cracking. We got an interesting episode.
Interesting conversation about a terrible movie.
Yes. So,
let's get it started.
Let's get it. Hit that intro. All right. If you guys haven't got your cup of coffee yet, what are you waiting for?
Waiting on you.
Go get it.
We waiting. Come on now.
Stop this podcast. Go get your coffee right now.
Stop what you were. Oh, we gotta tell them what kind of coffee we got.
Oh, well, today I got substitute coffee. I have Bang Black Cherry Vanilla.
Bang, bang into the groove. I got Monster.
Not sponsored, though.
Not sponsored. Sadness. No, I have a Monster. I swear, I'm like drinking Monster in almost every single thing, except for when I'm drinking wine.
It's not wine o'clock.
No, it is not. It's Coffee After Dark.
Okay, so how's your day been?
Pretty good. This morning was like, well, I felt really rushed. I got out of the shower and I was just like, I couldn't get myself together.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a late start. We barely got the kids to school.
But they got there. No truancy in here. No, it must be a blue moon because, all our technology is acting up. And get this, the naked alien made it to school on time.
Yeah, I got up and he was gone.
Yeah, like, can you imagine that? He's never, ever gotten up on his own. But, maybe the threat of consequences and me not waking him up or giving him a ride if he's late has finally stuck and his ass got up on time.
I hope so.
I'm telling you, I've been wanting to whip his big-headed behind every single day. And then I get an attendance notice. And then he got crazy with me. He's like, it's like you like me being late. And then he got loud with me, too. I was like, I'm over here, like, looking all around the house. He's like, and, with his look, like, what are you looking for? I'm looking around trying to find who the F you think you're talking to. Oh, he got so many nerves.
Gotta love him, though.
Oh, can't help but love him. And, John's been having some episodes and...
Yeah, it's been really, really, really trying. We're in trying times right now. Trying to figure out a new groove.
It's like when he shifts, he gets angry, there are fights, but I knew something was up because he stopped eating whatever I was cooking.
Yeah.
He was like, oh no, I don't want that. Everything tastes the same. And I'm like, what do you mean everything tastes the same? I cook it different every single night. We even tried to get something different in the house. No.
Yeah, I think he's probably just tired of chicken. We eat a lot of chicken over here.
But, I had like 3 pounds of ground beef and made ground beef stuff. You know what? That settles it. We should get him a box of tacos.
No.
there is no problem on the planet that a box of tacos cannot solve.
Not this one. I don't think this one will.
I'm telling you, tacos cure everything. Tacos, Vicks Vapor Rub, and elderberry tea.
Elderberry tea is good.
And tacos and Vicks.
Tacos are great. Vicks is very useful.
Exactly.
None of those are going to fix this issue.
Says you.
Kind of like our feature film we just watched.
There is nothing on the planet that will make me like this film. This film is terrible.
It wasn't that bad.
If I wanted to sit for an hour and a half and watch people argue, I'd just sit by the boy's door and just wait for the magic to happen. Honestly, it was like watching my week in one night.
On our movie date, we decided to watch Malcolm and Marie.
He decided to watch Malcolm.
We decided to watch Malcolm and Marie.
So, question: on a scale of 1 to 10, is the regret at more of a 1 or a 10? 10 being regretting the hour and a half you spent on this film, and 1 going, time well spent.
I didn't regret it. I mean, I enjoyed parts of it. You know, it just the arguing was a lot.
It was exhausting. I didn't give it a 10 on the regret scale because, like, I like doing stuff with you and I was taking notes, and it's just all that arguing it's just too much. It's like you could feel the toxicity seeping through the screen.
Oh, it was toxic, all right.
It was the worst. As soon as he came home, but the music was wonderful.
Yeah, it had a little James Brown in there.
Oh my God! What James Brown is famous an abuser, so the irony of having him on the soundtrack.
It definitely went with the theme of the movie.
Yeah, and then the song that came out after they were fighting, the one, you should leave him, he's no good, but I love him. Like,
yeah, okay, so the movie was Malcolm and Marie, which we thought was Frank and Marie. That's why we couldn't find it.
It took us.
We couldn't find it anywhere.
It took us a day and a half to find this film.
Come to find out, it is Malcolm and Marie.
Yeah. It honestly, Malcolm and Marie should be like, a million reasons why you should break up.
Yeah. It stars Zendaya and what's the actor's name?
Washington.
Something
George
Washington.
Washington.
He played in that movie Tenet.
No, it's not George Washington. It's
George Washington.
It's like Jay Washington. Tenet is the worst movie ever, okay? You ever watch Tenet and, like, you get to the end, you rewind a couple times and you still don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah, it was a little confusing. But, again, it was okay to me.
No, I don't like movies like that.
Okay, so Malcolm and Marie, it is about a filmmaker and his, I guess, failed actress girlfriend. They come home from his big movie premiere. He's happy. He's in a good mood. He wants to celebrate. But Marie, played by Zendaya, is in her feelings.
Yeah, I mean, but she turns out she has a legitimate reason for being mad.
Definitely.
So, he's riding the high of his success, and, she's all annoyed. She's peeing, she's smoking, and then, he's in the kitchen while she's making him macaroni and cheese. And then he starts going down on her, and she says, "Do you want salted or unsalted?"
Not interested.
Yeah, like, listen, if a man is going down on you and your thought is, should I put butter, unsalted or salted butter in this mac and cheese, he's not doing it right. He's not doing it right. He's not finding the right spot.
No, I mean,
no.
I mean, she was angry. You can see that on her face when she walked through the door.
Yeah, I mean, she was mad, but that's the thing. Like, if it was feeling the way it's supposed to feel, I mean, the look on her face would have been different. It'd have been like, oh my God, no, get off me. I'm angry. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been like bored, annoyed, and do you want butter while he's down there. It would have been more like, no, get off me. You're not going to be stimulating my nether regions while I'm mad at you.
Yeah, but
I mean, look, I don't care how mad you are. Your body reacts. It's not your fault. Your body will react. So,
yeah, I mean, sometimes, maybe.
That just tells me Malcolm's trash going down.
But you said she had a legit reason to be mad?
Mm-hmm.
Why was that?
He wrote an entire movie, like, through her lens, and didn't thank her at the premiere. Didn't give her any type of nothing. He didn't even acknowledge her.
While he was being, praised and great job and, all that stuff.
And then on top of that, she says, you bend over backwards to accommodate everyone but me. So his outward appearance was more important to him than his inward appearance.
Yeah.
Which is typical of an abuser and a narcissist. They will do the absolute most to make sure that their image is kept pristine, but then act like whatever the fuck in the house. Oh, sorry.
Kissing the mic?
No, I said a bad word.
Oh.
I need to find like the little censor sound so I can just be like, beep.
Nah. If it flies, it just flies. We explicit over here.
We don't care.
Oh, explicit.
Yeah, throw the F words in the air. Wave them around like you just don't care.
Okay, now let me ask you this. You say she has a legitimate reason to be angry with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if he would have just thanked her in front of everybody? Because he said thank you to everybody except for her.
Yeah.
So if he would have just simply said, "Hey, Marie, thank you," would we be here?
Probably not, but then it was like that one argument uncorked the bottle to many unresolved issues between them.
Yep. And the reason why I asked you that is because their problem is not even what they're going through. Their problem is communication.
Well, I mean, he's a self-centered narcissist. See, couples fight, and this is why when we watched this, I was like, okay, this will make a good topic. I didn't realize that it would be like DEFCON 4 level boring. It's like
it wasn't boring.
When I watched this movie, I felt like that one time I hung out at my friend's house and she got in a fight with her boyfriend, and I had to sit here. And I went over there to smoke. I'm not even gonna hold you. I went over there to, roll a blunt, relax, chill, watch the game, and next thing you know, she got into an argument with her boyfriend. So I'm over here, smoking weed and watching this fight. Like, they're just killing the whole vibe. It's like being at your friend's house and having like a fight break out, and you're just on the couch like, so should I leave?
Yeah, I think that was the point, though, to see it through not exactly an audience's eye, but more like if you were there in the room, uncomfortably sitting there watching.
And that's the thing. If I was hanging out in their house and they decided to fight like that, I wouldn't be I would be uncomfortable, but I'd be annoyed. Like, so y'all just invited me over so you can get a fight? I'm out. Like, see, yeah. I am 35 years old. So I'm at the point where I have no F's left to give, and I'm tired of your shit. That's where I'm at. I'm at the age where I spray little children who get too close to my patio with the hose. Crazy. That's who I am now.
You old mean old lady.
I am. I'm so mean.
But he's Malcolm is toxic. I hate to say that word because I feel it's a buzzword, but for lack of a better one, we're just going to use toxic. But she is also, she did rip him a new one.
Well, that's the thing. After he gave her a low blow about her being an addict and cutting herself, that's not something you say to someone you love. At that point, the gloves come off and say whatever you want. I was waiting for her to punch him in his mouth and kick him out.
Yeah.
But that did not happen. And I wrote down this quote. She said, "It's not about the thank you, Malcolm." She said, "It's about how you view my contribution, not just to this relationship, but specifically to a movie you made about my life."
Yeah, that was deep.
Yeah, it's
because he was riding off the success of her life. Like, he's riding on her back at that point.
And what that's the theme of a lot of successful men will step on the backs of women of color and not give them their flowers.
Yeah, so yeah, it happens.
And let me say, a lot of narcissistic men, abusers, will step on the backs of their partner and not give them their flowers. But more specifically, women of color.
I don't think he even understood that's what he was doing.
Well, I mean, what did he say? The white lady from the LA Times? Did he?
Oh, yeah, she got it all wrong. I have my issues with that part, but she's got it all wrong.
No, she had his number. She pulled his card. She didn't. No, she called him out for writing on the fame, like writing on the story of his subject matter. She called him out. And that's exactly what he was doing. He was keeping his subject matter close and exploiting her story.
He did.
So the LA Times writer saw that. She saw right through him. She thought it was a beautiful story, but her one criticism was that he exploited his subject matter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But she was also saying how he was trying to depict a story of black struggle and, the issue with Medicare and the black community, which he was not. He was just trying to make a film about a character and struggling that happened to be black.
Well, that's the thing. If he's gonna write the story Imani, who was an addict that couldn't get help, and Imani happened to be a black woman, which was the case in this movie, then, and how healthcare failed her, then he is telling one story of 1,000 stories out there. And he may not have intentionally made it to expose, the healthcare gap between, medicine and people of color. But this one story shows us the way the medical field, fails people of color every day.
Okay.
What my issue is, she had a legit gripe, and then instead of validating her feelings, he told her she was crazy. That's the gaslighting.
Yeah, he made a mistake. He shouldn't have called her crazy because it was even deeper than that.
Yep. Malcolm's for sure an abuser. And then it's like Marie's been in this toxic relationship so long that she is also toxic.
Yeah, I think she was toxic before the relationship, because remember, she's a recovering drug addict who didn't take the time to heal, get to know herself again, find out what she likes, what she doesn't like. She just jumped into the relationship as she was getting clean.
Yeah, because he so-called saved her.
He saved her.
Which, that was the LA Times writer. They said that he subverted the white savior complex and replaced it with a male savior.
This columnist got on my nerves, and they weren't even a part of the film.
But that's the thing. Couples, that's why I wanted to talk about, let's talk about this. I mean, there's other things that I wrote down, like he's emotionally abusing her by talking about other women. And then when she's fed up with his shit, he starts love bombing her in the bathtub. And these are all tool belts in the abuser tool belt. This is basically the abuser's version of the Batarang. It's not.
See, and that's my thing. Like, it can easily go from abuser to loving boyfriend, because if he would have just been honest and real with her from the jump, if he would have said what he was saying when he was love bombing her, which was basically like, I love you for you. If he would have said that, then, it wouldn't have came. Like I said, communication is key.
Yeah, it also says, he's basically like Erykah Badu, like he's sensitive about his shit.
Yeah, most creators are.
I mean, I'm sensitive about mine, but not to a point where I'm going to turn to you and start screaming at you. I spent half the film wondering, why the hell is he yelling? What is he yelling for?
Yeah, he even had a whole argument with himself for like 5 minutes.
It's like, when you so toxic, you start arguing with yourself. Oh my gosh. So let's get into it. When you argue, married couples argue, the idea is you have to fight fair.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to bring up You don't want to use things your partner told you in confidence against them.
Especially if it's something that hurt them. If you're going to argue, keep to the issue at hand. Keep it to one issue at a time.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I think a lot of times in arguments, it can bring up old wounds that you haven't yet healed from.
Exactly. And I think in the beginning of our relationship, when we had a couple large arguments, we really needed to work on one issue at a time.
Yeah, because, you know, we would be arguing and you'll say something that reminded me of something that happened a couple months ago that we never really resolved. So we had to grow together and said, okay, well, let's fix this. All right. Let's fix that.
See, and my biggest problem was that, you know, I did not take the time to validate your feelings. It would be like, I have a problem with this. So, of course, I go, okay, I'm going to problem solve this. So I would just fix it. I was like, okay, let me just fix this. Okay, I fixed the problem. Well, I don't understand why you're still angry.
Yeah, and see, yeah, and from my perspective of what you just said, like, I had to learn to understand what you were doing. You know, I felt my feelings were being validated, but you were trying to solve the issue.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that at first. You were trying to help, you know, and whenever we would argue, it was never like nothing. The issue we had was the small thing. The much larger thing was how I felt in result of what, you know, happened.
Yeah, and we never, like, it's never like a screaming match. Like, when you think of an argument, you think couple just crying and carrying on and screaming and whatnot. But it's not that, because I went to therapy and learned how to fight fair. You sit down, you know, you might be upset, but you say, I feel angry or I feel hurt because of this issue, this issue, this issue. You never go to low blows and, well, you know, and say, yeah, your mother, you know, whatever. Like, that's not, you keep it to the issues.
Yeah, I think that's what we did. We kept it to the issues. It was just open up, you know, older wounds.
Yeah, and then once we dealt with the issue at hand, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We are agreed. You know, we both feel this matter is resolved. Okay, let's talk about this thing from 2 months ago that you did not talk to me about. First, let's address why you didn't feel safe enough to talk to me about it at the time.
Yeah. I used to hold a lot of things in, which again is bad for communication, because communication is key.
Yeah. So what I was doing wrong, even though I was fighting fair, I was doing the wrong thing, because not everything is about fixing. I mean, yes, the goal is to fix the issue, but sometimes you've got to let your partner know that they're heard.
Yeah, and respect it.
That you understand their feelings and that they are heard. It's not just about fixing.
Yeah. It's like I would never like jump out the window and try and tell you what to do or how to act. I just want to know that I'm heard and respected.
Yeah.
If you like to run across the street, hey, that's fine, but I'm gonna say, hey, let's I think we should slow down. But if you still just want to run across the street, I'm not gonna be like, no, you shouldn't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, and
probably a bad example.
No, well, an example of your partner wanting their feelings to be validated, like you've always been super respectful, and there was one time where I felt like my feelings were being dismissed or reduced. Like I felt like you were being reductive at the time, and I was getting legitly mad. And I could feel my temper rising, like my voice jumped up a little bit. I still wasn't screaming, but I was getting there, and the conversation was about to end because I forget what I was so upset about, but you said something like, "This is why I don't like you working past your work hours," and I was like, I don't. You remember what I said? I was like, so I can't possibly feel this way. It's got to be something else. I'm not feeling this way because of anything you did. It's because I'm working late and tired. You're like, no, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, see, again, communication. It was really just meant as like, hey, you should probably have a, cutoff time so you can relax, take a breath, ease on out the day so you're not stressful all the time. But that's not the way I said it.
It's kind of like, it reminded me of the way we speak to our daughter when we're like, if you don't take a nap, you're going to be tired and then you're going to be grumpy. This is why I don't like it when you skip your nap. I remember that. I don't even remember what the argument was about.
Me neither.
But I remember that moment.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like, we went from, arguing about something, and then that will lead into opening older wounds. We went from that to not even remember what we argued about. Like, I couldn't even tell you what those arguments were about, actually.
Yeah, and see, the reason why we had arguments that didn't breed resentment was because we fought fair. We kept it to the issues, we discussed the issues, and there was accountability. I would say when I did something wrong, or, and you will say when you do something wrong.
Yeah. And that's very important. Don't fight dirty. But I'm going to start fighting petty. Start telling, hey, that's why your big toe's crooked.
Like, that's why I stole your blanket.
No, that's literally what we do. We just make fun of each other and just laugh.
Yeah, so much of our life is just laughter. Our kids are so funny too. Naked alien come up to, get a room.
Yeah.
But that's how you have a loving, healthy relationship, is to always talk, especially when you're feeling something. You always gotta talk about how you feel, talk about your day.
Yeah, always. That was one of the premises of the show, was end of the day, sit back, relax, have a little coffee, and talk.
Yeah, and when I watched the trailer and then I read the synopsis of Frank and Marie.
Malcolm and Frank, whoever.
Malcolm in the middle. I was like, you know what? This is
shout out to Dewey.
I said, this would be a great segue because you wanted to watch it.
I did.
You chose this movie.
I sure did, and don't regret it.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay, babe.
It's okay, like, the movie is in black and white.
Which was horrible.
It takes place in one spot, which is their house. They're the only two in the movie. So I do understand how one can get tired of that. I do. And I got a little tired of it.
And they're like toxic ass people.
Yeah.
It's like, when I ended, what did I say? Oh, if I wanted to watch two people argue, I would just sit on my couch and wait for the family to come home.
To me, it was a movie about how hurt people hurt people.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, he's narcissistic, and he was toxic, but she's also damaged as well and hasn't healed herself. Because she cut into him too.
I mean, she did. She called him mediocre. But
yeah, she called his work mediocre.
I mean, telling someone that your work is mediocre is not the same as bringing up something that someone told you in confidence. Or, like, if I told you I was an addict that wanted to die and you brought it up in an argument, it's still not the same as, well, your work's mediocre.
No, it's not. That's not fair.
They just, it was like exhausting.
Yeah, but the whole underlining issue was really Marie was feeling some type of way about actually not being in the film.
I don't think that, it was more or less that he painted his success and then erased her story. He used her story to be successful and erased her from the equation. She said, you told my story. You and Taylor told my story. And now I can't tell my story.
Yeah, which is why she should have been in the movie.
No, I agree. Like, she would have been great. She even she proved how great she would be in it because it's her freaking story.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I think that's an interesting parallel to how filmmakers tell other people's stories and then either, and leave them out of the equation. For example, stories like The Blind Side. They changed that story.
Did they?
They changed that story. Honestly, the football player that it's about hates that movie.
Michael Orr?
Yeah, he hates that movie.
Well, I thought it was a good movie.
Well, I'm a Sandy Bullock fan, so, I mean, obviously. But that's the thing, I was not a fan of the whole white savior trope. I wasn't a fan of, like, I just wasn't a fan of how they changed it from the book. And then when I did research on the real story, like, I was not a fan.
Well, I don't know. I never did research on the story, so.
Well, I was curious when the story dropped, so I wanted to write about it. About
Well, did they like interview the actual character, Michael Orr?
Yeah, like they spoke with the people in the story at length, and then they produced that. So I mean, he was very upset about it, but I mean, it's like, cool story, bro. I guess
it's hard to make it a true movie about somebody's life without changing things, because certain things that happen in real life just don't work. It just don't work with films. So they're gonna have to change some things.
My favorite line out of that film is, what is that, a Saturday special? She said it shoots just fine all the other days of the week too. That was the best line.
Okay, so
But Malcolm.
Malcolm and Marie. How did it end?
I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't watch the end.
We didn't watch it. It was like 30 minutes left, and we're just tired. It was like, you know, again, you're at your friend's house and you're just tired of their shit. So listen, y'all work that out. I'm gonna go home. Girl, leave him. He's no good for you. He's an a-hole. You need to go. Put up the signal. If you're not safe, I'll take you with me.
I mean, she's no good for him.
They just need to like leave each other. But
Yeah.
I thought that was a good segue into fighting fair,
Yeah.
and you know, resolving issues without being toxic. You know, and I figured we can look at like the things that they did wrong, which
Yeah.
he didn't validate her feelings. He gaslit her.
He did.
And told her she was crazy.
Yeah.
And then he emotionally abused her by naming all the women that...
Yeah, that was messed up.
Just
that was wrong.
In like detail of all the things he did with them, with her. She wasn't even saying anything at that point. She was over it. And then when he realized he went too far, he just started love bombing her. Now, had they had a real discussion, you know, what they could have done instead was, instead of just being all mad face, you know, he didn't thank her, she could have been like, listen, you know, it really hurt me that you didn't thank me. You wrote a film about my life. You didn't cast me. You didn't thank me. It's like you erased me completely.
Yep, wow. She's supposed to just simply shut up and support him.
Yep. And then, you know, what he could have said was, you know, okay, I completely understand how you feel and your feelings are legitimate. Instead of assuming all the ways, just be like, how can I make this right for you?
Mm-hmm.
And then they would have been set.
Yeah, but they got all kind of problems.
Oh my God.
That don't even have to do with each other.
I'm just saying, it was really tough when she said, the fact that you are so lazy and can compartmentalize to where you can abuse me while you are eating macaroni and cheese.
That was a good line.
I don't know who wrote that, but that was amazing.
That was a good line.
She's like, you just got up for seconds. He's like, no, I didn't. And I'm over here more gaslighting. She called him on his bull, and he called her crazy.
Yeah.
So
what do you think about the performances?
Oh, they were definitely A1. I think, honestly, Marie's basically Rue. When Rue grows up and gets clean.
Yeah, from Rue from Euphoria. We're gonna do a little review on Euphoria coming soon. But that's what I was thinking. She was like, this was almost like a sequel.
No, I think it's basically if Rue grows up and becomes an actress, this is it.
Yep.
I mean, we get to see the play next week, so
yeah, the actor that plays Malcolm, right?
Malcolm, it is Malcolm.
I think he's a pretty solid actor, but like I've been saying, like Zendaya is that woman right now.
Oh yeah, Zendaya's doing her thing, and she's got so much range. It's just, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it's refreshing to see.
I'm trying to there was like a 5-second pause because I'm trying to think of what other movies she was in. All I can think is Spider-Man. This. Can we even count that? She doesn't say anything. That movie was so boring. It was beautiful and boring.
It was the best boring movie I've ever seen in my life.
It was a beautiful boring movie. And then I didn't read the book, so when the Ben Jesuit was throwing up gang signs, I didn't know what was going on.
I can't wait to see part 2.
Maybe they'll actually explain to us what is going on.
Like, that's crazy. Like, the movie was super boring, but it held your interest in a way that made you curious still. Like, I'm
not me.
Anticipating
it
part
did
2.
not hold my interest.
Yeah, and we're going to see part 2.
We are going to see part 2,
yes.
But it did not hold my interest.
Yes.
I was interested to know why using the voice sounded edible. Use the voice. Would you say, give me some milk? All right, so that was our date. We had our caffeine, which was not coffee. But this morning we had the Starbucks mocha blend thing.
Did we?
Yeah, the green bag.
Yeah, you did. The coffee you didn't drink.
No, I took a sip while it was warm, but then it was warm, so I wanted it hot. Then I realized our microwave was broken, so I couldn't put it in the microwave. I would actually have to put a little pot on the stove, put it in the pot, turn on the stove, and then wait for it, and then have my coffee.
No.
Are you tired yet? Because that's how I felt watching this film.
I poured you coffee. I said, here, babe, here's your coffee. And you threw it across the room and said, get this out of here.
No, I did not. See, that's lying. That's lies.
Well, all right, guys. We will see you. Talk to you.
See you next week.
Yep.
See what topic pops up next week. I keep trying to get Rob to recreate a conversation that we had in the car. Remember when I was talking about the high schools and how there's gang activity, and then I felt guilty, like I was being uppity?
Maybe we'll see. Coming soon. Probably not.
Maybe. Definitely.
Definitely not.
Definitely.
All right, so
we got to pick up the semen demon. So
yeah.
So remember, always have your coffee
after dark.
After dark.